Hi, and welcome to City Happenings. I'm Mayor David Black. Last week, we said goodbye to retiring school superintendent Rick Black. This week, we introduce you to incoming superintendent Andy Rickley. This summer, the city said thank you and best wishes to a retiring longtime police officer. And we take a look back at the recent Twilight Bike Criterium and hear from the race director.
Thanks, Mayor Black. The local school district welcomes its new superintendent, who gives his thoughts.
I think when you look around not only the school district and the community, the Papillion and La Vista communities are small towns, and that's very desirable to my wife and I. My wife's from a small Nebraska town. She grew up in Aurora. I'm from Auburn, Nebraska. I was born and raised in Missouri, spent most of my formative years in and around small towns around the Twin Cities area, but I graduated from Auburn, Nebraska. And small town values are very important to us. And when you look at the La Vista community, when you look at the Papillion community, you really have the best of both worlds. You have small town values and the work ethic and the expectations and the sense of community that goes with that. But at the same time, you have all of the amenities that a major metropolitan area offers. When you throw on top of that then the quality of school district that the Papillion-La Vista School District offers, and it was an absolute no-brainer. You have supportive communities with Papillion-La Vista, you have an exemplary school district in the Papillion-La Vista School District. It just seemed like a perfect fit for my family and I. There's a number of things that we want to focus on, both not only that we do well, but also looking at potential challenges. In terms of what we do well as a school district, our facilities are second to none. As my wife and I were traveling around to our different buildings at all levels, 2 high schools, 2 junior highs, and our 14 elementaries, I think we were both frankly shocked at the condition of our buildings. They're in wonderful shape. The grounds are well maintained. The maintenance is clearly a priority for the district. So we can continue to build on that. You look at our teaching staff. We have one of the most well-educated teaching staffs in the state. It's an award-winning teaching staff. We know, all things being equal, that having a high-quality teacher in front of our children is the single most important factor for children, so we can build upon that. And we have results. It's not about having the best buildings. It's not about having the most talented teachers, though those things are very critical. At the end of the day, our taxpayers want to know what type of results are they getting for their tax dollars. And whether you're looking at graduation rates, which typically exceed 96% at our 2 high schools, whether you look at our ACT for our college-bound seniors, take a look at our test scores. Our writing scores are among the very highest that you'll find anywhere in Class A or any other class for that matter. So there's lots and lots of positives. In terms of the challenges, as a growing district, we're going to have to manage our growth. We added almost 400 students last year. We'll add probably another 300 students in the fall of 2013-14. That'll be a challenge. Managing our construction. Our voters were kind enough to place their trust in us and pass a $60 million bond issuance. There's going to be a lot of building going on, and anytime you have building of that magnitude, there's going to be a lot of projects that will need to be managed. And the last thing I would mention is the learning community. It's certainly something that we're not happy about as a school district. We're not happy about as a community. I don't believe it's realistic to expect the learning community to come to a grinding halt overnight. Laws don't change overnight. That's just not the way that it works. But that's certainly something that the board and the community and the school district is going to continue to have to grapple with as we continue to move forward as a community and as a school district.
A longtime Papillion police officer retires and looks back.
We started out where we dictated our reports, and then the secretaries would go ahead and type them. And well, actually, no, I think we actually started handwriting our reports, and we went to dictating them. But yeah, just the different things. I mean, you know, phones where I couldn't forward a phone call to save my life. It's like, hey, you have to call this number because it's not the good old days where you put them on hold and said, hey, phone call. But yeah, there's just a lot of, you know, the computers and the cruisers. We've got, you know, in-car videos. There's a whole lot of stuff in there. Cell phones. I mean, it's all part of what you do. They always talked about community policing, where you got out and met the people. I think Steve Young, Rich Borman were the old timers. We did that before it was ever a term. Mm-hmm. And there were certain people in town that would come down and ask specifically for their certain officer because they knew that we could help them. And one It was an elderly lady and her widowed daughter lived together, and Mama passed away, so it was just the daughter, and at 3 o'clock in the morning, her toilet backed up. Who do you call? She actually did call a plumber, but there was nobody answering, so you called the police. I think of calls like that. I've gotten calls where the lady's washing machine was walking out of the laundry room. She didn't know why. It's like it was overloaded. And, so you're a jack of all trades and don't even realize it. I've always been called the dog whisperer, so any dog calls, I would handle the dog calls, and I was bitten once, and that was by an overexcited Boston Bull Terrier. And that was during a blizzard, and we were telling people, get your cars off the street. And this gentleman opened the door, and this dog literally just ran up my body, and I put my hand up to block, and he caught me right here. But other than that, so yeah, loose. We used to get a lot of loose cow, loose horses, loose pigs, when this was still a farming community.
The 7th annual Twilight Bike Criterium was successful once again.
Well, we've had great response from the neighborhood. We certainly get people who live in this area come down and watch every year. We certainly do have a lot of people who come with the racers' families, racers' friends. But there's also, the whole bike community in the metro area. They don't all race, but they're all interested in bicycling, and it's very fun for them to have an event that they can kind of call their own. Come down, support their friends, have a good time, go to one of the restaurants or taverns in downtown, and like I said, part of the reason we put on an event like this is to support downtown and bring people down here that might not normally come to downtown Papillion. The ability that a lot of these racers have is pretty spectacular, and it's fun to watch it on television, but it's a little bit more personal when you see them live. You can see the effort, you can see the expression on their face, you can see how much work it is to be in a bike race, and you can really get a sense of the strategy too. If you watch a bike race on TV, you're probably catching the highlights. If you come down to the Papillion Twilight Criterium, we have a professional race announcer calling it play-by-play. You can sit in the shade, have a full understanding of how the race is developing, and because it's a short, closed course, you see the racers go by, every few minutes. So you can follow the race that way. It's not like a road race where you go see the racers come by one time. You're seeing the action as it develops throughout the entire race.
Thank you to everyone who came out to celebrate Papillion's decade of being named one of the best places to live by CNN Money Magazine. This community support and participation is one of the reasons Papillion stays on the list. Thank you. And there were lots of ways to stay up to date with what's happening in Papillion. You can find us on Facebook, follow the City of Papillion on Twitter, or even watch our YouTube channel. There's also the new City app. It's available from the Apple Store and the Android Marketplace. And of course, information about all of our departments and programs is available on our website. For more about Papillion, go to www.papillion.org or just call the Mayor's hotline at 402-827-1111. Thanks for watching.